The Meridian Collective's survey vessel emerged from quantum space at the edge of Sol's heliopause, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in impossible patterns. Supreme Observer Thexna stood on the bridge, 3 pairs of luminescent eyes fixed on the holographic display of Earth. Their species had mapped thousands of civilizations across the galaxy, but something about this system felt different. Preliminary analysis complete. Supreme Observer announced First Analyst Valro, their tentacles dancing across the neural interface. The humans appear to have achieved basic quantum manipulation within the last decade. Their defensive grid consists of primitive graviton deflectors and what they call antimatter catalysts. Nothing that could challenge even our scout vessels. Thexna's facial ridges rippled in amusement, another young species discovering the fundamentals of space-time manipulation, thinking they'd unlock the secrets of the universe. The Meridians had mastered quantum engineering before humans had invented the wheel. "Show me their energy signatures," Thexna commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying a spectrum analysis of Earth's power grid. "Fascinating. They're still relying on fusion reactors. Have they not discovered dimensional tapping yet?" "No, Supreme Observer. Their most advanced facility, located in what they call CERN, has only recently achieved stable quantum entanglement on a macro scale." The bridge crew shared knowing looks. They'd seen this pattern countless times before. Young civilizations often developed quantum technology in predictable stages. The Meridian Collective had appointed itself guardian of such species, protecting them from more aggressive spacefaring races while guiding their development along approved paths. "Prepare the standard protectorate proposal," Thexna ordered. "We'll give them the usual choice: accept our guidance and protection, or face isolation from galactic society." Their expression softened slightly. They seemed clever enough. Given a few centuries of proper mentoring, they might even earn associate status. Valro hesitated, their tentacles twisting in an unusual pattern. "Supreme Observer, there is one anomaly in our readings. We're detecting occasional quantum fluctuations from their moon base, but they don't match any known technological signature." "Experimental technology, no doubt," Thexna dismissed. "All young races go through a phase of questionable quantum experiments. Remember the Proxians. They nearly collapsed their star trying to create a dimensional pocket. They turned to the communications array. Open a channel to their primary governmental body. Let's begin the integration process." The message they sent was standard procedure: a demonstration of superior technology, a display of overwhelming force, and an offer of benevolent protection. The Meridian ship deployed its quantum wake generators, creating a spectacular light show visible from Earth's surface. Millions of humans would see the crystalline vessel shimmering in their sky, its very presence a testament to Meridian supremacy. But as the ship's sensors continued their passive scan of the solar system, they failed to notice something crucial. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in caverns carved by technology the Meridians couldn't comprehend, humans were having a very different conversation. General Sarah Chen stood in the Lunar Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the Meridian vessel's position. Unlike the aliens above, she wasn't smiling. "They've taken the bait," she announced to her staff. "Operation Looking Glass is now active. Alert all phantom sites and begin powering up the Nexus array." Humanity had learned long ago that the galaxy was full of ancient, powerful civilizations. Rather than announce their true capabilities, they had chosen to wait, to watch, and to prepare. The primitive quantum technology visible to the Meridians was merely the surface layer, a carefully crafted deception maintained for decades. As the Meridian vessel prepared to deliver its message of protection, automated systems throughout the solar system began to wake. In the clouds of Venus, in the ice of Europa, in the rings of Saturn, and in dimensions the Meridians had never imagined, humanity's real technology stirred to life. The game of appearing primitive was about to end, and the Meridian Collective was about to learn why humanity had chosen to hide its true nature for so long. Admiral James Chen, brother of General Sarah Chen, stood in humanity's true command center, carved into the dark side of Europa. The ice moon's thick crust provided perfect camouflage for what lay beneath, a quantum computational array larger than any city on Earth. Holographic displays showed the Meridian vessel in exquisite detail, every facet of its crystalline hull analyzed and catalogued. "Fascinating," he muttered, studying the alien ship's energy patterns. "They're still using localized quantum fields. They haven't even discovered membrane theory yet." He turned to Dr. Amara Patel, Earth's leading physicist in dimensional mechanics. "How long until they notice our passive scans?" Amara smiled, her dark eyes reflecting the shimmer of data streams. "They won't. We're using quantum ghost protocols. To their sensors, Europa is just another dead moon. They're so confident in their technology that they're not even looking for anything beyond their understanding." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden installations continued their work. In the crushing depths of Venus's atmosphere, plasma forges constructed components for technologies the Meridians couldn't imagine. Within Saturn's rings, automated factories used dark matter manipulation to build ships that could slit between the fabric of space itself. And in the Kuiper Belt, the quantum entanglement network that connected humanity's secret empire hummed with activity. The deception had begun 60 years ago, when humanity detected the first signs of advanced civilizations. Instead of announcing their presence, Earth's leaders had made an unprecedented decision: to hide their true technological progress. On the surface, they maintained the appearance of a young, struggling civilization, while beneath, they prepared for the day they would meet their galactic neighbors. "Message from Lunar Command," announced Lieutenant Rivera. "The Meridians are preparing their protectorate proposal. General Chen requests permission to proceed with Phase 2. Admiral Chen straightened his uniform, a habit from years of military service. "Looks like it's time to play our part. Dr. Patel, are the quantum masking fields holding?" "Perfectly. As far as they can tell, we're still fumbling with basic particle acceleration. The false readings from CERN are feeding directly into their sensors." The Admiral activated the command channel. "This is Europa Actual to all Phantom sites. Initiate consciousness overlay protocols. Let's make sure our visitors see exactly what they expect to see." Throughout Earth's solar system, advanced quantum computers began projecting false consciousness patterns. When the Meridians scanned human minds, they would detect exactly what they anticipated: a species struggling with their first steps into quantum science, filled with appropriate awe at Meridian technology. In the Lunar Command Center, General Sarah Chen received her brother's confirmation. She allowed herself a small smile as she watched the Meridian ship position itself for its grand announcement. The aliens were about to offer humanity protection, guidance, and restricted access to their technology. They had no idea that humans had surpassed them decades ago. "They're broadcasting," announced her communications officer. The message began playing throughout Earth's communication networks, exactly as predicted. A demonstration of power, followed by an offer of benevolent protection. Sarah activated her neural link to the quantum defense grid. Throughout the solar system, hidden sensors recorded every detail of Meridian technology. Analyzing weaknesses they hoped they'd never need to exploit. Humanity had chosen peace through preparation, but they were ready for any outcome. "Send our response," she ordered. "Full diplomatic protocol, with all the appropriate signs of nervousness and awe. Let's give them exactly what they expect." As Earth's carefully crafted message of grateful acceptance was transmitted, Dr. Patel's voice came through the quantum link from Europa. "Admiral, I'm detecting something interesting in their quantum wake patterns. They're using a form of dimensional compression we abandoned years ago. Should we adjust our masking fields to appear even more primitive?" "No," Admiral Chen replied after a moment's thought. "Let them think they've discovered everything there is to know about us. The best deception is the one where the target believes they've already found all the secrets. In the depths of space, humanity's true fleet lay dormant, hidden in dimensional pockets that the Meridians couldn't detect. ships powered by dark energy, weapons that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality, and technology that had moved beyond the need for physical form. All waiting, watching, preparing for the day when hiding would no longer be necessary. The game would continue, but the rules were about to change. The Meridians thought they were welcoming a primitive species into their protection. Instead, they were about to learn that humanity had been protecting itself all along. First Analyst Valro was troubled. 3 months into the Protectorate agreement with Earth, subtle inconsistencies had begun to accumulate. The quantum fluctuations from the moon hadn't disappeared. They'd changed. Sometimes, when monitoring the humans' primitive quantum experiments, their sensors detected impossible patterns in the background noise. Supreme Observer, Valro approached Thexna's command pod, tentacles twitching nervously. I believe we may have overlooked something about the humans. Thexna's expression remained neutral, but their middle eyes narrowed slightly. Explain. Their learning curve is wrong. They're adapting our basic quantum teachings too quickly, making connections that took other species centuries to grasp. And there's more. Valro projected a data stream. Their power consumption doesn't match their technological level. Something is drawing massive amounts of energy, but we can't trace where it's going. Before Thexna could respond, the ship's alert system activated. A Meridian survey team had vanished while examining one of Saturn's rings. Their last transmission mentioned unusual gravitational readings. Launch a full investigation, Thexna ordered, and increase surveillance of human quantum activities. Perhaps they're being more reckless with our teachings than we anticipated. But as the Meridians began their investigation, humanity's hand was forced. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, automated sensors detected something approaching. A harvester fleet, cosmic predators that consumed civilizations. They were drawn to quantum signatures, and the Meridians' showy displays had attracted their attention. In the Europa Command Center, Admiral Chen received the alert. How long until the harvesters reached the solar system? 48 hours, Dr. Paddle responded. The Meridians haven't detected them yet. The harvesters are using quantum masking similar to ours. Chen's expression hardened. We can't maintain the deception any longer. If we wait for the Meridians to discover the threat, it'll be too late. He opened a channel to Lunar Command. Sarah, it's time. Initialize the Lazarus Protocol. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden technology began to emerge. The rings of Saturn rippled as massive structures phased into normal space. Venus's clouds parted, revealing orbital platforms that had remained invisible for decades. And beneath the lunar surface, something stirred. A power source that made the Meridian's quantum technology look like children's toys. On the Meridian vessel, alarms exploded across every sensor array. Valro's tentacles flailed in shock as readings poured in. Supreme Observer. Massive quantum signatures appearing throughout the system. The humans. They're impossible, Thexna whispered. The holographic display showed human ships emerging from dimensional space, their design unlike anything in Meridian records. They weren't just advanced. They represented technology the Meridians had never imagined. A transmission reached the Meridian vessel, audio only. This is Admiral James Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We apologize for the deception, but we have a more urgent matter to discuss. A harvester fleet approaches, drawn by your quantum signatures. They'll be here in less than 2 days. Thexna's facial ridges pulsed with disbelief. You know of the harvesters? How? Even we barely survived our encounter with them centuries ago. We've been watching them for decades, Chen replied, just as we've watched your collective and others. We chose to hide our capabilities because history taught us that technological superiority often breeds arrogance and conflict. We wanted to understand our galactic neighbors before revealing ourselves. The Meridian crew watched in awe as human installations activated throughout the solar system. What they had dismissed as a primitive defense grid transformed, revealing itself as part of a vast, interconnected quantum web that encompassed the entire system. We don't have time for detailed explanations, Chen continued. The harvesters are coming, and we'll need to work together. Your quantum technology, combined with our dimensional engineering, might give us an advantage they won't expect. Thexna stared at the tactical display, watching as human ships took up defensive positions. Each vessel represented technology that shattered Meridian understanding of physics. The humans hadn't needed protection. They'd been protecting the galaxy from threats the Meridians hadn't even detected. You've been lying to us, Thexna said finally. No, Chen corrected. We've been waiting to see if you could be trusted. The harvesters are just the beginning. There are things coming that will require all of us to work together. The question is, now that you know the truth, can you set aside your pride and join us? The harvester fleet emerged from quantum space like a nightmare made real. Their ships were vast organic constructs, each one a living weapon evolved to consume civilizations. Where normal spacetime touched their hulls, reality itself seemed to decay. In the Europa Command Center, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with Dr. Patil at his side. The Meridian vessel had taken position alongside Earth's defense fleet, though Thexna's pride was still clearly wounded. The harvesters are adapting to our quantum signatures, Dr. Patil reported, her hands dancing through holographic data streams. They're already developing countermeasures for standard Meridian defenses. As expected, Chen nodded. Thexna, your people encountered them before. What was their primary attack pattern? The Supreme Observer's voice carried a mix of bitterness and professional respect. They consumed our outer colonies by generating quantum decay fields. Nothing survived. A pause. But you already knew that, didn't you? You've been studying them, just as you studied us. We had to understand what we were facing, Chen replied. Humanity learned early that knowledge was our best defense. When we detected the first harvester probe a decade ago, we realized we couldn't face this threat alone. The first wave of harvester ships accelerated toward Saturn, their biomechanical forms distorting space around them. Meridian quantum cannons opened fire, their beams seemingly absorbed by the organic hulls. Thexna's facial ridges contracted in fear. This was exactly how they'd lost their colonies. But then something unexpected happened. As the harvesters reached Saturn's rings, they encountered the true extent of human engineering. The ice and rock that formed the rings shimmered, revealing themselves as billions of quantum-linked particles. Each one was a node in a vast computational network. Activating the ring maze, Dr. Patil announced. The particles began moving in impossible patterns, creating a lattice of intersecting dimensional spaces. The leading harvester ships found themselves trapped in a labyrinth where the laws of physics shifted with each movement. Impossible, Valro whispered, their tentacles writhing in confusion. You've weaponized dimensional uncertainty itself. The computational power required is provided by the quantum cores we've built throughout the solar system. Chen finished. What you thought was primitive technology was just the surface layer. We needed you to underestimate us, to believe we were harmless, in case you proved to be hostile. The harvesters adapted quickly, their ships beginning to dissolve the quantum lattice. But this too had been anticipated. From Venus, massive energy collectors emerged from the cloud cover, their surfaces rippling with dark energy patterns. From Europa's depths, vessels of human design rose, their forms almost liquid, controlled by AI systems that operated beyond normal spacetime. This is why we hid, Chen explained as the battle unfolded. Not from fear, but from necessity. We discovered that the galaxy was full of ancient threats, powers that would be drawn to any civilization that displayed advanced quantum technology too openly. So we waited, watched, and prepared. The Meridian crew watched in awe as human ships engaged the harvesters. Where Meridian quantum technology tried to impose order on spacetime, human ships surfed the chaos, using the harvesters' own reality distortions against them. Each human vessel was a self-contained universe, operating on principles that made Meridian physics look primitive. We needed allies, Chen continued. But we had to be sure. Your protectorate program showed us exactly who you were. Beings capable of both wisdom and arrogance. The question now is, can you adapt? Can you accept that your understanding of the universe might be incomplete? Thexna watched as another wave of harvesters approached, their forms somehow more terrible than before. The combined human Meridian fleet faced not just an enemy, but a fundamental choice about the future. Pride and survival hung in perfect balance. These harvesters, Thexna said slowly, you have a plan to defeat them. Yes, Chen replied, but it requires something your people have never done before, accepting that you need to learn from us, not teach us. The harvester fleet filled the tactical display, their quantum decay weapons beginning to tear at the fabric of space. Behind them, more were emerging from quantum space. The moment of choice had arrived, and with it, the future of both civilizations hung in the balance. The harvesters had never encountered resistance like this. Their living ships, evolved to consume quantum technology, found themselves trapped in a battlefield where space-time itself fought against them. Every attempt to adapt was met with a new layer of human ingenuity, supported by increasingly coordinated Meridian tactics. Supreme Observer Thexna had made the decision that would reshape galactic history, to truly collaborate with humans, rather than merely tolerate them. Now on the bridge of humanity's flagship Hyperion, they watched as theory became reality. Quantum synchronization complete, Dr. Patel announced. Meridian crystalline technology is now linked with our dimensional arrays, ready to initiate final protocol. The combined fleet had drawn the harvesters into a carefully prepared trap. Saturn's rings had become a vast quantum computer, Europa's hidden facilities projected dimensional barriers, and Meridian ships formed a crystalline lattice that amplified human technology beyond anything either civilization had achieved alone. They're beginning to retreat, Valro reported, their tentacles moving with newfound respect through human holographic interfaces. Their quantum decay weapons are failing against our combined shields. Admiral Chen nodded to Thexna. Supreme Observer, would you do the honors? Your people have earned this moment. Thexna's facial ridges rippled with an emotion no human could read. 3 days of battle had changed their perspective on everything. Initialize the cascade, they commanded. Throughout the solar system, human and Meridian technology activated in perfect harmony. The crystalline lattice of Meridian ships channeled power from human dimensional cores. Space itself seemed to hold its breath, and then transformed. The harvesters found themselves caught in a quantum entanglement field unlike anything in their genetic memory. Human dimensional engineering, amplified through Meridian crystals, created a cascade of reality shifts. Ships that had evolved to consume quantum energy found themselves unable to process the hybrid technology they were facing. Dimensional inversion successful, Dr. Paddle reported. The harvesters are being forced into contained pocket universes. Their quantum decay weapons are turning inward. One by one, the massive organic ships vanished, trapped in dimensional bubbles where they could harm nothing but themselves. The few that attempted to flee found their quantum drives refusing to function in the transformed space around Sol. In the aftermath, as cleanup operations began, Thexna stood with Admiral Chen in Europa Command, watching the dimensional bubbles being towed toward containment facilities in the Kuiper Belt. You could have revealed yourselves at any time, Thexna said quietly. You could have dominated the galaxy with this technology. Why choose deception? Chen smiled. Because domination wasn't our goal. We needed partners, not subjects. By hiding our capabilities, we could see how other civilizations would treat those they thought weaker than themselves. A test we nearly failed, Thexna admitted. But you passed where it mattered most, Chen countered. When faced with a greater threat, you chose cooperation over pride. That's why we revealed ourselves when we did. The harvesters were coming regardless. We needed to know if you could adapt. In the months that followed, the galaxy changed. The Meridian Collective abandoned its protectorate program, replacing it with a true coalition of species. Human dimensional engineering combined with meridian crystal technology created new possibilities for exploration and defense. More importantly, the victory over the Harvesters sent a message throughout the galaxy. Ancient threats that had lurked in dimensional shadows began to retreat, faced with the prospect of civilizations that could work together despite their differences. Dr. Patel's team worked closely with Meridian scientists, breaking down barriers between their different approaches to physics. Valro learned that human technology, while different, followed its own elegant logic, and slowly, the arrogance of the Meridians transformed into genuine curiosity about what else they might have missed in their centuries of assumed superiority. 1 year after the battle, at the inauguration of the first joint human Meridian dimensional research facility on Europa, Admiral Chen raised a toast with Thexna. "To the future," Chen said. Thexna's facial ridges rippled in what humans now recognized as joy. "To understanding that the universe is larger than our preconceptions of it." In the space above them, human ships phased between dimensions while Meridian vessels created crystalline networks of quantum energy. Together, they patrolled for threats both species now knew were lurking in the darkness between stars. But they no longer faced those threats alone. Humanity had hidden its light not out of fear, but wisdom. And in doing so, they had found not subjects to protect, but allies to stand beside. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what they had hoped for all along.